Hi everyone, today I'll be taking you through my digital stories assessment video that I completed with 5 foundation level students at my placement school, Albany Rise Primary School in Mulgrave. So just to give you a brief introduction, background and overview, so I'm currently teaching foundation level at Albany Rise Primary School, Mulgrave for my placement. The topic for this assessment had a focus on ordering the days of the week and students identifying what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday. This was discussed and decided upon in discussion with my mentor teacher. Assessment was completed with a group of 5 students who were at different levels and abilities. They were selected through looking over previous assessments that they had completed and their results with my mentor teacher across the year. These 5 students selected didn't perform as well as the other class members in their previous assessment done on the days of the week, so it gave me a great opportunity to reassess them again on the topic. The days of the week is practiced every day in the morning circle time through songs and daily charts, so this assessment gave me a good opportunity to assess and see where the group of students were at this stage of the year. Due to the limited time frame, days and lessons, all assessment was done in the group, but majority was completed working one-on-one and individually with the 5 students. The assessment was completed in the first week of the 2-week teaching block back in August with my 5 foundation level students. So just quickly, connections to the Victorian curriculum. This assessment and topic of the days of the week, as well as identifying what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday, is linked through the Victorian curriculum at foundation level mathematics through the following. So it falls under measurement and geometry using units of measurement. The content descriptions are connect days of the week to familiar events and actions, and compare and order the duration of events using the everyday language of time. You can see the elaborations there where this connects. So the types of document testing and assessment undertaken, I had my students complete a pre-survey, which was simple yes/no responses. This gave me a good insight into their initial feelings towards maths. Then students had to order the days of the week documents, so sticking them in order and doing the same for what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday. I kept student personal notes and running records document kept throughout the assessment and discussed an overview with my mentor teacher at the end of the assessment. And students would utilise ICT resources prior to completing the assessments. And finally, all the assessment documents I created into a way that I believe would suit my group of students best. So my assessment overview and initial plan, so my topic, the days of the week, and the students identify what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday. The assessment was going to be over 4 to 5 lessons with a group of 5 students who are at different levels and abilities. So the first one was their pre-survey, which again gave me an insight into the students' feelings towards maths. The pre-assessment, so ordering the days of the week. The mid-assessment, what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday. And the final assessment. The final assessment was repetitive to the pre and mid-testing. But unfortunately, that didn't go to plan and changes had to be made. So my new plan of attack of what I did and how I did it. So due to literacy and numeracy week adjustments and changes had to be made to my initial plan. I now only had 2 lessons to complete my assessment with my group of students. These 2 lessons were structured in the following way. So in the first lesson on the Tuesday, I had to combine the student pre-survey, pre and mid-assessment into one session with the 5 students. This was completed individually utilising ICT at the start prior to the assessment through the iPad app Ludo School. In the second lesson on the Friday, the students had to complete the final assessment, which was repetitive to the pre and mid-testing. The ICT used was computers for YouTube videos, songs on days of the week prior to them to completing the assessment. So you can see the ICT usage in the pictures to the right with iPads and the computer YouTube videos. The evidence collected, so students complete the survey, yes/no pre-survey prior to the pre-assessment, which again gave me an insight on how they felt towards maths. Personal student notes and running records kept throughout the 2 lessons on the group of students and their progress. All results were kept on file from this testing. The notes, records and the students' results were given and discussed with my mentor teacher in a brief review at the end of the final lesson and assessment to compare from their previous testing results. So I'll just quickly go through my 5 students in a brief and give you a bit of background into them. So Devon is the strongest student out of the group. He's in the middle to high group of students within the classroom. I was confident that Devon would be the strongest performing student across all assessments on the topic of the days of the week and identifying what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday. Ashna is the ELS student in the group. Across the duration of this year's placement, she showed a lot of improvement in the literacy aspect, but does show some difficulty across some numeracy areas. However, she does have potential to improve in a variety of areas. She is currently in the middle performing group within the foundation class. Nicholas is the lowest performing student within this group of students as well as in the class. He requires extra help in most lessons. He is currently undertaking further learning testing with a psychologist, and unfortunately he found this assessment difficult. Fervos is in the middle performing students within this foundation class, but personally in this group he was strong. Like Ashna, he has the potential to significantly improve his learning and understanding as he goes through his schooling. Jessica is another ELS student within this group. She is also a low performing student as well. Like Nicholas, she found this assessment difficult, which was to be expected being an ELS student. So now we'll go over the assessment results that was demonstrated over across the 2 days of testing. So Devon, with the pre and mid assessment on the Tuesday, Devon demonstrated a good understanding when it came to ordering the days of the week for the pre and mid assessment. He seemed to get slightly confused with the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. Devon's understanding of identifying what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday was fantastic, as he was able to get it all right for all assessments. In his final assessment, Devon improved significantly when it came to ordering the days of the week in the final assessment. He was able to correctly place Tuesday and Thursday in the correct order and places, but again got confused about Saturday and Sunday. He successfully identified what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday. Overall, he showed a good improvement from the pre and mid assessment into the final assessment. Ashna in the pre and mid assessment, she, being an ELS student within this foundation group, demonstrated a good understanding of knowing her days of the week. Like Devon, she was successfully able to identify what day it was today, tomorrow and yesterday, and seemed to have a good understanding. She seemed to have a slight confusion with the Tuesday and Thursday ordering, but I was happy with how she went for this component of the testing. In the final assessment, when it came to ordering the days of the week in this assessment, she showed improvement, especially identifying the correct place of Tuesday and Thursday, in which she had incorrectly placed in the pre and mid assessment. The only error was the Saturday and Sunday. I was pleased with Ashna's progress, considering she is an ELS student. Nicholas, in the pre and mid assessment, seemed to misinterpret the ordering of the days of the week and identifying what the day was today, yesterday and tomorrow in his pre and mid assessment. This demonstrates that Nicholas requires further learning on the topic. In the final assessment, Nicholas showed some slight improvement on his days of the week. He essentially was ordering the days of the week, which was pleasing. However, Nicholas again misinterpreted to identify what day it is today, yesterday and tomorrow successfully, like he did in the pre and mid testing on the topic. Fervos in the pre and mid assessment, he did quite well in this assessment. He showed some good signs in the ordering of the days of the week, and he was successful in identifying what day it was today, tomorrow and yesterday. Unfortunately for the final assessment, he was absent, so he could not complete it. Now I just have a small video of Fervos completing the pre and mid assessment on the Tuesday.
So Fervos, could you please put the days of the week in order? Thank you, Fervos.
Now on to Jessica. For the pre and mid assessment, Jessica was my other ELS student in the group. Unfortunately, she didn't do as well as I'd hoped in the pre and mid assessment. Her understanding of ordering the days of the week and identifying what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday was minimal. But this was to be expected. In the final assessment, Jessica showed some improvement in comparing to the pre and mid assessment, With Jessica being an ELS student, obviously she's a bit behind the other group members in terms of her understanding of the days of the week. However, from working with Jessica, she does have good potential, but just requires some extra learning and further knowledge on the topic. So the new learning, this assessment has provided the new learning that most students were able to demonstrate some improvements in their knowledge of the days of the week and identifying what day it is today, tomorrow and yesterday through the 2-lesson assessment, as seen from the assessment results in the previous slide. So who benefited from this assessment and assignment? Despite this assessment investigation being only 2 lessons, I believe that it was still beneficial for myself, my mentor teacher, and the group of 5 students. This was my first experience and bout of assessment that I have completed through this assignment. And by doing so, it has given me a great insight into the undertaking assessment with a group of students who are at different levels and ability. It has been a great experience and I've been able to learn quite a bit from this brief assessment as well, as more about the students and their abilities and how they learn best. Over the final 3-week teaching block, I have continually pursued assessment opportunities working with my mentor teacher for extra valuable experience. This will leave me in good stead going forward for when I start my own teaching career, profession and practice, and when I undertake further assessment. For the group of students with only 2 lessons, it was pleasing to see some slight improvements in their results from the pre, mid and final assessments. I believe the use of ICT really benefited them all and learning across the 2 lessons. By doing this assessment with them, I hope I've been able to contribute to their learning and improving their understanding of the days of the week. My mentor teacher has also benefited because through this assessment, it has given her a bit more of an insight and these students' abilities and their improvements. She can see some of the progress these students have been made with this assessment and compare it to the last assessment she did with them earlier in term 2. In conclusion, by completing this assignment, it has given me a good insight into student assessment and it's been first I've undertaken. Since completing this assessment, I've undertaken further assessment during my last 3-week block of placement with my mentor teacher, which has been another valuable experience. I look forward to continually undertaking further assessment when I commence my teaching career and practice. Thank you very much.